So this hour, we're going to go back to an old friend who has circled back to the front of the line here. Pigskin Scandal 101. Now, this involves former Raiders coach Jon Gruden, as the autumn wind blows, no longer a Raider. Now, Jon Gruden has he's moved away from the silence. He's taken a vow of silence. We hadn't heard from Gruden since all this went down. Well, now he has broken the vow of silence. If you have not been following along the latest revelations from Gruden and Raider Nation, maybe you missed it. So Jon Gruden, in a recently revealed conversation with HBO, that's premium cable television, HBO, home box office, and Jon Gruden spoke to a member of the staff over there at HBO and said, quote, "The truth will come out," when asked to comment about the interview that HBO did with NFL Player Association Executive Director DeMaurice Smith. And so he was asked about that. Now, Andrea Kramer of HBO, I think she's a correspondent for Real Sports, and she said a producer at HBO that works on her team called Jon Gruden. Did you hear this? She called Jon Gruden, this woman named Maggie Burbank. Doesn't that sound like a fake name, Maggie Burbank? But that's her name, apparently. So she called up Jon Gruden for comment and was flabbergasted that Jon Gruden, in the middle of a massive sports scandal, answered his phone. Can you believe that Jon Gruden answers his phone? No, I'm actually surprised, because if you get a number from someone, you get a call from someone you don't recognize, do you answer the phone? I never answer the phone. If I don't recognize the number, write the voicemail. That's it. Anyway, this producer at HBO had a very brief conversation with Jon Gruden, who declined an on-camera interview. Not going to do it. But what did Jon Gruden say? Hold on, I'll tell you. According to Andrea Kramer, Jon Gruden said that he's letting the dust settle. And he also said that people who know me, meaning Gruden, know what I stand for 58 years. He said, I have a resume of 58 years. And here's the money quote. He said, "The truth will come out." That's the quote. The truth will come out. Obviously, a cryptic message from Jon Gruden, which is great because that allows us to figure out what the hell Jon Gruden meant by that quote right there. So, very simple. Jon Gruden alleged to have told HBO the truth will come out. So, as we discuss the question, how should Roger Goodell and the bigwigs at the NFL feel about this comment from Jon Gruden? So my view, you've got DocuSign, Bruce Lee, and breakfast menu. And we'll put all of these things together, and we are going to cook up an amazingly delicious apple pie. Now, not as good as banana cream pie, but a solid number 2 on the big board of pies. Now, first of all, listen, Jon Gruden, media savvy. Say what you want about Jon Gruden. Spent a lot of time at ESPN, and he knows how the media business works. Being in the NFL as a coach all those years, you're around the media all the time. And I will guarantee you that Jon Gruden is giving the NFL executives an ulcer. He has been intentionally mysterious in these comments. Play the cards you're dealt. One of the very important lessons we learn early in life. You might not be given a great hand of cards, but you got to find a way to make it work. Got to put on your poker face. And so this is not Jon Gruden's first barbecue. Now, this is his first barbecue being in the middle of a scandal, but he's been involved in the media business and the NFL world his entire life. So parsing the words, which is what we like to do here, parsing the words. This tells me that there is no settlement that is imminent. Jon Gruden's lawyers are still working out the financials with the Raiders and the NFL in general. And the reason I say that is if there was a settlement, Jon Gruden wouldn't have even said this, right? Any kind of a deal, anything, any kind of a payout, even if the Raiders say, we're not going to pay you the $40 million, we'll pay you, $10 million. Okay? Any deal is going to require Jon Gruden going on a DocuSign for an NDA. Anyone disagree with that? Like, having an airtight non-disclosure agreement is vital for the NFL with Jon Gruden. Why is that? Jon Gruden knows a lot of stuff. He's been there and he's done that. And he knows this also. Gruden's aware that the NFL needs him to be a good soldier, even though they've just buried him. Right? You say he buried himself because of those emails, but those emails, those were not for public consumption, and they got out, and it's likely the NFL was behind it. So think of this as a warning shot by Gruden. Pay the man or else. All right, now secondly, Jon Gruden is sneaky good. He really is sneaky. You say, well, he didn't even go on camera, and this is just a phone conversation. But you pull apart the layers of this cake, and you're like, wow, that layer's pretty good. There's extra frosting there. That's good. Like Gruden, I'm going to tell you right now, Jon Gruden is the most dangerous man in the NFL, and he's not even in the NFL anymore. Done in by friendly fire. De facto banishment, ostracized. The Buccaneers erased him like Joseph Stalin erasing enemies of Mother Russia. The Buccaneers erased him from the Ring of Honor. O.J. Simpson killed 2 people and is still on the Wall of Fame in Buffalo. Jon Gruden sent some offensive emails and has been erased. The Raiders fired him. Say what you want about Jon Gruden, but that guy loved the Raiders, and I saw him a few times over the years coaching with it. The Raider fans loved him. Now you say, well, they didn't know the real Jon Gruden, but he can't work there. He can't work anywhere. So what's left? What's left? It's like that old quote Bruce Lee and others have said that the most dangerous person is the man who has nothing to lose. That is the person you should fear the most. Jon Gruden has nothing to lose in terms of the football world. He can go scorched earth. He can start naming names. He can sing like a canary and do a lot of damage. Right? A lot of damage here. He has been part of the Good Old Boys Network, the fraternal order of football, his entire adult life. Chucky boy. He is now outside of the web of trust, but he had been inside it. And all it takes here is Jon Gruden to wake up and say, you know what, the NFL forgot about me, so I'm going to forget about them. And all of a sudden, I got loose lips. And those loose lips are going to sink the NFL's battleship. It's going to happen. All he has to do is what they say, spill the tea, right? All he has to do is spill the tea. And what a mess it will be if he spills the tea. Jon Gruden has critical trade secrets from behind the curtain at the NFL. And he also has a lot of people that know him and like him from his NFL media days at the ESPN and whatnot, and people he's come across. And so he can share whether he uses his name or not. He doesn't have to, this stuff, he does not have to use his name. He can use this off the record, valuable information that would incriminate many people. All right, final thought. So this Gruden story, where are we at? If this was a baseball game, I would say we're in the top of the second inning. Long way to go. Top of the second inning. It's a bullpen game. A lot of changes. So we have the landscape out in front of us of a full 9-inning baseball game. We're only in the top of the second, so you have to navigate through that. Jon Gruden is, at this point, the key that will blow up not only the Raiders and the NFL, but that umbrella of everything that is under the NFL. And this is really about the owner of the team formerly known as the Redskins. Because this all started with an investigation into the Washington Redskins, who then became, during that investigation and what happened after it, the generically named team with no name, the Washington football team. Dan Snyder has lawyered up. Here's where we are. So you got Gruden's angry. Dan Snyder is lawyering up about the Jon Gruden emails. The federal government has now got involved. Congress is like a hound dog. They're sniffing around. They are sniffing around right now. The U.S. House of Representatives are looking in to the Jon Gruden email scandal. I'm not kidding. An act of Congress, the Foresight Committee, or the Oversight Committee. I don't know what the Foresight Committee is. The Oversight Committee is requesting information on the Washington football team investigation. They're meddling with the NFL. But wait, there's more. A former Washington cheerleader claims that she thinks that the Washington football team were the ones, and Dan Snyder, the one that leaked the emails from Jon Gruden. So she doesn't think it's the NFL. She thinks it's Dan Snyder. Why would Dan Snyder do that? Her theory, call it a conspiracy theory if you want, but the theory is that this was done to blame Bruce Allen and Dan Snyder, who supposedly, it's all verkakta, but Dan Snyder's not really watching over the Washington football team right now. His wife is. Of course, nobody believes that to be true. That's a fictional story, but the NFL is saying that. But so if you can release these emails and see, look at Bruce Allen, this guy was the one, he was fast and loose. It was workplace dysfunction. But this blew up. Nobody cares about Bruce Allen anymore. They care about Jon Gruden. Jon Gruden's the bigger name. So what's on the breakfast menu on a Friday morning at Casa Goodell, Roger Goodell's penthouse in the Big Apple? So I say a supersized can of worms, because that's what you got right now. This Gruden story. Woo! It's like a volcano. You see those volcanoes, and the scientists anticipate the volcano's about to go kaboom! Just like that, with molten lava flying everywhere. That's Jon Gruden. And there's no way the NFL at this point wants to offer transparency. Now, I said they should. They should just redact anything good and just release all the emails. They're not going to do that, though, because they want to protect the guilty. And even redacted emails, you can guesstimate who they're from and what they're about and whatnot. Now, this congressional investigation, let me address that for a second. This is a burger. It's a nothing burger. I'm going to tell you why. The owners, what they'll do, I've seen this before in other sports investigations. What the owners do here, they get together. They're the aristocrats. They get together and they go to get petty cash. And they send these things called campaign donations to the politicians, to the people running for office there every few years on the Congress, this oversight committee. So they make some donations to the weenies in Washington, and then the people in Washington look the other way and say, okay, we've investigated. We'll fly a few people in, and we'll put them on camera on C-SPAN, which 2 people watch, and then we'll be done with it.